Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. So tonight's episode is the Fulham preview. If you're new, please subscribe and get involved in some of the topics that we're discussing tonight. I'm going to plug an episode that I've done with the Villa Foundation as well. It's all about mental health, mental well-being, stress awareness, and they're doing some fantastic things. So make sure you check that episode out. It's only for like 9 minutes. I was joined by Michelle, so she was chatting to me about everything that they're doing. So, you know, it's fantastic what they're doing. So Aston Villa back in action. Feels like it's been ages since I've spoke about Aston Villa. So I'll get your thoughts, Simon, first. What's your vibe with 10 games to go of the season left?
I think we've needed a bit of a break, haven't we? I think the international break sort of came at the right time for us. Our form's been really disappointing, hasn't it, over the last 2 months or so? And I don't think it's just the results either. I think it's been how we've been playing. It's been not great to watch. We've really missed Grealish, obviously, struggling to make chances. And so obviously getting Jack back, hopefully come Sunday, hopefully it'll kick-start something again. I mean, you never know with the Villa, but we've got sort of 10 games. It can go one or two ways. It can go, you know, Jack comes back and we have a strong end to the season. Or you could go the other way and we plummet down the table because there's not much in it now. Between like 10th down to about 13th, there isn't that much in it. And so it's a big 10 games for us, really. I'm just hoping that we can sort of get back to the form that we were showing at the start of the season.
Definitely. Let's just talk about all four shirts that we've got on show tonight. I've got a drill jacket. Some absolute beauties on our screens tonight. So Seb has sent us in a little question. He wants to know, with all four of you combined, what is the total sum of money spent on retro football shirts? We have done bits recently, a lot of us on eBay and Depop. So what do you reckon you've spent, Simon?
Oh, do you know what? I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. It's got to be in the thousands region, which is, when I say that sounds horrendous. What you can do with that money, but you know what? 12 months have been in lockdown. There's been no Villa to go to, so that's my excuse anyway.
And Justy, you've got a monster collection, haven't you?
Problem is my wife watches this, so I'm going to decline to comment on how much this has cost. Otherwise, I'll be out of a house. I'll be living in the garden shed.
I've not, to be fair, I've noticed that Ryan's wife watches as well, so we'll move on from this one. So one thing I want to talk about as well, and a lot of the questions that we've had sent in from the listeners and viewers, is regarding Mcginn and Mcginn's role in the side. I've spoke about before that Mcginn had a purple patch for Scotland, and he was fantastic. He was banging goals in for fun. And on this international break, we've seen exactly the same from Mcginn. He scored 3 goals, and he's banging form. And to me, it's a slightly different Mcginn to what we get to see. With Scotland, he's played 32 games and he's scored 10 goals, which is a ratio of like 1 in 3. For Villa, he's played over 90 games and he scored 10 goals. So just looking at that brief stat, there's a big difference to what we're seeing from Mcginn. And I think we've all alluded to that our role and our midfield has been a bit of an issue recently. So just going to go to some of the questions and then we'll have a bit of a discussion about Mcginn. So we've got from Dominic Hunt, it's an obvious one, but who would be the 2 that play behind Mcginn, as we'll all hopefully get the best out of him when he's played in a more advanced with a licence to roam. Flip Flop has put, what's our best midfield 3? A lot of people saying push Mcginn further forward with Luiz and Sanson playing in the deeper roles. And then we've got any more on Mcginn? That's all from Mcginn, I think. That's all from Mcginn. So, Ryan, what's your vibe on Mcginn then?
We touched on it in the Spurs preview, didn't we? Where we looked at Mcginn and we looked at him as a Premier League player. And where he's played his best football is when he's been in a more advanced role. He was playing the number 10 role at the end of the season, the last 4 games when we stayed up. Terrific. Start of the season, he was banging form, scored a goal against Fulham, scored a goal against Liverpool. He was grabbing assists. And then when Barkley come in, he moved back down to number 6 and he was used there. And he's out of position. He is out of position because his attributes is the making of all attacking, and Scotland and Steve Clarke have got the best out of him, really have got the best out of him. And look, he's been sacrificed for the good of the team this season, but I think now is the time to move him upfield. And it's whether I've seen so many people put different combinations of the midfield. No, all of us can't settle on a three. Everyone's got a different idea. So Dean Smith has got to come up with something. But for me, do we ditch the number 10 role now to the end of the season, have Mcginn in at number 8 with Sanson, but give Mcginn the licence to get forward? Or do we keep Jack on the left and put Mcginn in number 10 and have 2 holding midfielders behind? But we've definitely got to try and get the best out of Mcginn now, because he's going to come back absolutely buzzing, and we can't have him sitting defensively, can we? We've got to get the best out of that energy now and use it as an attacking force. We have. Simon, what are your views on it all?
I don't think it's a simple one. I think the midfield is a big problem for us. As you said, as Ryan said, I don't think any of us can settle on what is the best thing to do in midfield. I think the reason for that is that no one really knows what Sanson is. Is he a defence midfielder? Is he number 8? Is he number 10? I don't think anyone really knows that at the moment. Louise, is he really a defence midfielder as well? I think, we've been talking about that as well. For me, I think Ryan's right. McGinn's got to get into an advanced role. I think you saw him when he was at his best for Villa. He was in that attacking role when he was letting shots go at goal, and that's one of his main attributes, isn't it? And I think watching Villa, especially in recent weeks, we don't get enough shots at goal from the midfield at all. And so I think for me at the moment, I think I'd be bringing a Canberra in as a defence midfielder alongside probably Louise and pushing McGinn forward, because I think I'd like Jack in the number 10 role really, but I don't think we've got the wingers for that. Trezeguet, flatters to deceive, Algar's in and out, and even Traore's in and out really in terms of his form. And so we need to keep Jack on the left definitely. And so I think I think to get McGinn back in the goal scoring charts and making assists, I think he needs to be pushed forward definitely. We've got to try something different, haven't we?
So Justin, do you feel like Jack coming back, we're going to see a totally different formation or an approach to these last 10 games?
I don't think we'll see a different formation. I think he's tried and trusted now what he plays, and everybody knows what they do. I think we'll see, and I think it's right now that we'll see different players tried in different positions with the 10 games to go. Yeah, we want to win as many as we can, but I think, it's going to be a massive summer this summer. So I think he wants to probably get it in his head, Smith, that, what his plans are for the summer, who's staying, who's going. I'm sure those plans are starting to be formulated now. For me, now, looking at McGinn for Scotland, he's basically turned into Scotland's Grealish, hasn't he? Everything revolves around him. He just sits in that role. He's allowed to do what he wants to do, basically, and he's flourishing. At Villa, he seems to be a victim of his sort of the way he plays, his enthusiasm and his energy, because he plays deep, because I think they just think he'll just get up and down all day. He'll get up and down, don't worry about him. And that, in a way, because he's so enthusiastic in the way he plays football, I think that negatively has impacted his game at the Villa. I think if he was to play a bit further forward, and I think this is what I'm trying to say with 10 games to go, is try him now in the 10 role. We've tried Barkley. His form's been very patchy, and he's probably going to go back. McGinn's our player. McGinn's a very, 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 very good footballer. So we need to get the best out of John McGinn. So for me, Fulham, Sunday, he plays the 10. I would then play Louise and Sanson behind him, because I think we need to see what Sanson's all about. So play him in the role just behind him. He looks a very tidy footballer. He looks like, he doesn't give possession away very easily. And he's got to settle in the team. What's the point of spending that kind of money on a player and bigging him up and not allowing him to settle into the side? So Jack comes in on the left. I'd start Traore on the right. Watkins obviously is your 9. McGinn then sits in the 10, and I would sit Sanson and Louise behind. And I think, potentially we could really give Fulham a good hiding, hopefully, on Sunday, and it could start a real good end to the season for us.
I mean, it feels like ages since we won a football match. I can't even remember when we last won a match. So
I think it was Leeds, wasn't it?
Mate, I'm with you. I'm after a win. So this is a question off Frank Costa. It's a question that it's all the talk, isn't it, at the minute? Obviously, Villa without Grealish, we're a one-man team. But I hate hearing that because I do get it. I do get that. Obviously, when he's not in the team, we're not as good, right? But it's what he brings to our team and what he brings to the other players within our team. Like, he improves Watkins, their combination play is really good. He draws players to where he is, so it frees up space elsewhere. So, it's not just that we rely on Grealish to do absolutely everything and score all our goals. We've got Watkins, our top goal scorer this season. So here's a question from Frank. I'll give this one to you, Simon. Given our record with and without Jack, do the Smith doubters have an argument when they point out to our promotion and success since as being more down to Jack than Smith?
I think it's a hard one, really. I think he's so good that when he's out of the team, obviously we're going to notice it. And I think that we have to take a step back as Villa fans and think, this season we've overachieved, really. We weren't expecting to be where we are. And so, yes, you take Jack out of the team and we do look very ordinary. But then you've got to remember, we still finished 17th with Jack in the team last season. He didn't have any injuries last season, and yet we still really struggled. And so I think we're on a path, aren't we? I think we're on a path by the Villa, and I think we're building. And I think you add more quality players around Jack, and then you won't rely so heavily on him. But we've got to remember, we're only in year 2 of this. We're only in year 2 of our Premier League sort of project again. And then in terms of us getting promoted, you could, obviously coincided with Jack coming back. But there was times even before Dean Smith arrived under Steve Bruce when Jack wasn't like he is now, or like he was under Dean Smith. He's improved that much since Dean Smith came into the club, and so I think it's harsh to say that Smith doesn't deserve any credit and it's all down to Jack. But he's a special player, and he's world class. And let's be honest, at the moment, he could probably walk into any side in Europe at the moment.
For me on that, Jack has carried us through this period, but we are building, aren't we? It's like he played a big role in keeping us up. He has dragged us up through there. But in the background, we are building. Look at our back five. It's one of the best in the league. We've got a striker that plays well with him. And Jack has been terrific again this season. But next season and the summer is where we're going to improve the quality around Jack in that final third. Wingers, central midfielders, and that's going to help. And also it will give us options as well when Jack isn't in the side. So I think this summer will be a big turning point.
Like you say, we're far from the finished article, so there's room for improvement, all over the pitch basically, which is what we'll see at every transfer window. So let's move on to Fulham then. We've heard Justin. Justin said we're going to smash them. Seb on the podcast, he loves Scott Parker, and to be fair, I think he's done a brilliant job from the Fulham that we saw at Craven Cottage when we played them, because they were destined for relegation then, and he's turned them around and made them into a good outfit. So, Ryan, feelings, thoughts, Fulham? Are we going to get back to the ways?
I think so, yeah. I think Parker has actually done a decent job, to be fair. He oversaw the inevitable relegation, didn't he? And he got them back up first time of asking. And we know how difficult it is to do that. They've turned a bit of a corner. They've built a strong defence. The problem is that they draw a lot of games, don't they? Because they don't score many goals. So hopefully Martinez can add to his clean sheet and go for that golden glove. But they have got some decent players. Lookman, the keeper's decent, and they've got 2 decent centre-halves. But I'm feeling optimistic, I am, about our return. Jack and Wes, they're both back. McGinn's on fire. Watkins bagged for England on his debut. So, and with Jack back, I'm feeling a bit of a Derby County performance, just that buzz, and we go out there and we absolutely smash them.
Back with a bang.
Back with a bang, yeah, definitely.
Simon, are you feeling 3 points?
I I think we'll win. I don't think it'll be as comfortable as what the other two reckon, but no, I think we'll win. I think, to be fair, I think Parker's done a really good job at Fulham. I think he's learnt from his sort of mistakes at the start of the season. They're not as open as they once were. They're quite good defensively. They've got a couple of strong central midfielders as well. So I think it'll be a tough game, but with Jack coming back, as you say, some of the lads are in a good spirits. Watkins scoring, McGinn's on fire. I can't see us losing. So I don't know. A 2-1, a close 2-1, I'll go.
Yeah, to be fair, I've wrote down 3-1 with Grealish. So, Justin, what are you going for?
Just quickly on that Dean Smith and Jack thing. It's a very easy stick to beat Dean Smith with. Without Jack Grealish, that Villa, it's all about Jack Grealish. It's not all about Jack Grealish. Let's not forget last season, before we had the COVID break, Jack Grealish was in the team and we were pretty poor. And then it was Smith that masterminded that, COVID break, getting it all together, changing the formation, changing the way we did. And then we came back and then Jack was better. So I think it's very harsh just to say, we are, very important player, our most important player, but Smith is very important to Villa. I really feel that.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think so as well. I think, like I said earlier, though, this season we haven't been a one-man team. We've been far from a one-man team. He's brilliant and he's so good for us, and his assists and that are great. But as a team, for me, this season we've looked really good. So I'm with you. I just feel that
I don't know why we can't just enjoy the fact we've got one of the best players in our history playing for us. We've got a really good management team, and we're just going to get better. So we're doing this now with one absolute world-class player, and I'm sure the board are going to be looking to add more to that because they know that's where we're lacking now. We've got one world-class player and a few very, very good players. If we can up the quality up to near Jack, we're only going to really improve very, very quickly, aren't we?
Definitely.
I love it when you're this passionate, Justin. That when you talk like this, it's the closest thing to being at Villa Park, to be honest, mate. I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's so good.
You've got to be positive. What?
100%.
God almighty, it's ridiculous to even be negative. I saw that there was I think the Athletic did a thing about it. Are you happy with you where you are in the league? And 13% of Villa fans said they weren't happy with where we were. It's just mind blowing. That is for me, absolutely mind blowing that bigger percentage are not happy with what we're doing.
They just probably don't even watch them. Do you know what I mean? It's just baffling. I think we've still got to remember that we're playing against some very established Premier League sides week in, week out. Teams like we're coming up against teams like Spurs have been Champions League for like the last how many seasons. Like, we're not the finished article. We're trying to reach a certain level, and unfortunately, we probably are going to have massive dips in form every now and again, but
you're not going to catch these teams in 2 seasons, like Simon said. This is the second season back up.
Look how many teams have buckled in the second season. Your second season syndrome. But we've had none of that this season.
No,
apart from this little spell of
which was always going to happen, wasn't it? It was always going to happen.
Right, I've got to quickly get your score prediction. So, Ryan, what's your score prediction?
Oh, God. Well, I mentioned that Derby County one, so let's have it. 4-0 up the Villa.
Justin?
I'm going to go 3-0. I think we'll win the game comfortably.
Awesome. So thanks for watching and getting the comments of some of your thoughts on what we've said tonight. So thanks for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Villa.